Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, daily news, what's going on in Washington, D.C., and what is going on in our country. The U.S. House of Representatives is now back in session. They are now back from their recess or back from their state work period where they go back to their states to work in their states, which they do several times per year. They have now been called back from their states to Washington, D.C. to start the voting process on both the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, which is largely known as the fourth stimulus package, which will be the largest stimulus package yet to date, or the largest stimulus package ever, and the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. The infrastructure package has been fully passed in the Senate. The $3.5 trillion stimulus package has not really been passed in the Senate. It has only been passed in the motion to proceed in the Senate, which is two very, very different things. So basically, the bill is going to be starting in the House. Remember, it has to pass both the House and the Senate for the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. The infrastructure package, however, has passed the Senate and now only has to pass the House of Representatives. We're going to be talking about that in this video, what the House of Representatives is going to be doing this week, starting with the voting process that will be going on this week, actually starting today. I will keep you up to date with everything going on with the next stimulus package and what's going on in our country and in Washington, D.C. So the House wasn't really working on either of those bills. I mean, of course, they were working on other things. They're always working on something. But the House has now been called back from their recess or from their state work period. And here's some kind of an interesting clip that I've seen on kind of what they're going to be working on here going forward with the voting process on both of the physical infrastructure package and the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, and kind of the negotiating that they're going to have to do amongst their own party. Check this out.
Meantime, in D.C., the House of Representatives comes back to work today. They've got their work cut out for them. Lawmakers are back from recess early, facing a very different landscape than when they left at the start of the month. Democratic leaders are eager to lock up votes for Biden's economic package and then pass it in tandem with the infrastructure bill. The major roadblock? 9 moderates who say they will not act on reconciliation unless they see infrastructure pass first. Joining me now from Capitol Hill, NBC News national political reporter Sahil Kapoor. So walk us through the work Congress needs to do and just how big a roadblock these 9 pose.
Yeah, a big week coming up here on Capitol Hill for President Biden's legislative agenda. The House returning early and planning a series of votes today and tomorrow to move that $3.5 trillion package that is a centerpiece of President Biden's agenda. That's the safety net expansion and tax hikes on upper earners. Now, as you mentioned, Speaker Pelosi is facing a rebellion from a group of moderate House Democrats who say they don't want to begin work on that $3.5 trillion reconciliation package until the Senate-passed infrastructure bill is done, passed in the House, and signed into law by President Biden. They have a new op-ed today in the Washington Post digging in on this position, 9 of them saying that they oppose holding that infrastructure bill hostage, their word to the reconciliation bill. Now, Speaker Pelosi has said for months that these bills have to move in tandem because the votes aren't there to pass one without the other. To that end, a coalition of progressive groups has a new ad campaign out today targeting these 9 moderate Democrats, led by Congressman Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey, accusing them of obstructing President Biden and his agenda. Of course, here, this is a high-stakes standoff between the progressive and moderate wings of the Democratic Party with huge consequences for President Biden's agenda. Democrats hope to run on the infrastructure bill and this reconciliation bill, which would include major investments in health care and child care, mitigating climate change, raising taxes on upper earners and corporations to get it done. They want to run on this in the 2022 midterms to tell voters, please keep us in power for another 2 years. But of course, they have to pass it first. And Speaker Pelosi is probably going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to get all members of the House except 3 Democrats, which is her margin for error, Chris.
Yeah, so what these 9 moderate Democrats are doing, what they're saying is, let's take the win. Let's pass the infrastructure package, which is fully passed in the Senate. They're saying, let's just pass this infrastructure, the physical infrastructure package, the Part 1 package. Let's just pass it and get it done with. And then we can focus on the $3.5 trillion package, which is going to be passed only by the Democrats. But all the progressive Democrats, which is really the larger group. Remember, the Progressive Democratic Caucus, which is led by Pramila Jayapal. She's the co-author of the $1,000 monthly stimulus bill, along with also progressive member Rashida Tlaib. Remember, the Democratic Progressive Caucus is about 100 members. Those co-authors, they're calling for, or previously called for, a fourth stimulus check of $2,000, and also $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus checks that would go until not only the ends, but until 1 year after the is declared over. Now's the time to remind them that they have introduced a bill. I mean, here's an actual article that says, "Hey guys, don't forget you've introduced bills calling for a fourth stimulus check and even monthly recurring payments. So, hey, don't forget about that fourth stimulus check. Don't forget that you want to include this in this next infrastructure package, or I should say the social infrastructure package, the American Families Plan, the plan you're working on right now, the $3.5 trillion package, which is the largest stimulus package ever at $3.5 trillion. Over 80 different Democrats support further direct payments to Americans. So let's make sure that they include as much stimulus in this next package as possible. President Biden has said in the past that he's open to a fourth stimulus check, and that if they want to include it in this next package, that they can. So now is the time to tweet your representatives, tweet your senators, Bernie Sanders, Pramila Jayapal, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, and remind them that, hey, a lot of Americans are still in need of support, and this next package is the largest package ever at $3.5 trillion, and they're calling it an anti-poverty plan. So, again, they're the ones that have said that they're in support of 80 different lawmakers, from the Democrat side, are in support of further direct payments, aka stimulus checks. So now's the time to remind them that, hey, your guys are calling this an anti-poverty plan. So you better make sure you include as much direct payments, stimulus checks, to the people in this $3.5 trillion anti-poverty plan. So yeah, the House of Representatives is actually back in session. They're on the House floor right now, working on this right now. Now, here's the question: is we could have a vote tonight. It could spill over in tomorrow. We could have a little bit of problems also, because remember, there's 9 moderate Democrats that are saying we might vote no. They can only have 3 of them vote no. In this initial vote, it's a vote to proceed, just like the Senate has. Now, if we get more than 3 Democrats that vote no on the motion to proceed, well, they can't vote, they can't proceed. It's a vote to proceed with the reconciliation process, which kind of unlocks the motion to proceed, the motion to go ahead. So they need to do this. It's part of the process to proceed. So if they vote no, if you get more than 3 Democrats that vote no, well, then they can't proceed. So what does that mean? That means they have to then take them in a back room. We've seen this before with Joe Manchin when they had to negotiate with them. They'll basically have to take them somewhere and negotiate with them and say, okay, what do we need to do to make this happen? Yeah. So we're going to literally be finding that out here possibly today. I will keep you up to date with everything because, yeah, they're back in session at this point and they're going through the voting process. Could be voting today. We're going to have a lot of breaking news probably every single day at this point. So I wouldn't miss out on any videos. The House of Representatives is going to be trying to pass this and starting the voting process this week. We could be having the actual wording of the bill. This is where House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says, now is the time to bring forward what you guys want in this bill. So now is the time where they're going to say, yeah, we want a fourth stimulus check in this bill. Now is the time to say, yeah, we want to extend those monthly payments to the children, the 65 million child tax credits. Remember, those expire at the end of this year. So if you have children and you're getting those monthly checks, the $250 to $300 monthly child tax credits, well, guess what? Those expire at the end of this year. So they want to extend that in this next package, but they have to actually do it. They're also saying it's going to be an adult tax credit in this next payment. But again, is that going to be monthly checks? Is it going to be a one-time check? Is it going to be a check with your tax return, a tax rebates? We don't know. There's also supposed to be Medicare 2.0, additional Medicare benefits to include hearing, dental, vision, hearing aid coverage, dental and denture coverage, which about 75% of seniors, according to Bernie Sanders, do not have, as well as possibly lowering the Medicare eligibility age down to age 60. They also want to put free community college in this next package. 2 years of free community college for the vast majority of Americans. There's probably going to be an income eligibility on that. probably similar to the third stimulus check. So if you got the third stimulus check, you'll probably be eligible for 2 years of free community college. We're going to be finding out all these details. There's a lot of different stimulus items in there: possible free healthcare, possible free childcare or reduced childcare. There's a lot of things in this next package. It's the largest stimulus package ever at $3.5 trillion. And in fact, Nancy Pelosi just said that they're holding their ground, at least for now, at the price tag, the top line, and holding it at $3.5 trillion for now. Again, that's part of the negotiations. They may have to negotiate because, again, they need to get pretty much 99% of the votes from the Democrats. They need to get everybody to agree. So I will keep you up to date. New videos. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.